Okay, students, I am discuss about today's class is exception handling. Okay, do you know what is exception handling? This is a very important topic in Java. That is exception handling. You know what is exception? Exception means error. You know error when you are writing a Java program. There is some error, inbuilt error or programmer error. Okay, this error how to handle? So in Java, there is a concept of exception handling. Okay, first thing is, what is exception? Okay, exception means an unwanted, unexpected event that disturb the normal flow of the program. That disturb the normal flow of the program is called exception. Okay, in the exception handling, one question is arise: how exception can be handled? How exception can be handled? How to handle that exception? Okay, very important. How to handle exception? Okay, exception handling. Exception handling do not mean repairing an exception. Exception handling do not mean repairing an exception. We have to define the alternative way to continue the rest of the program, normally. Means we have to define the alternative way. We have to define the alternative way to continue the rest of the program normally. This way of defining is nothing but exception handling. We have to define the alternative way to run that program. This is called exception handling. Okay. Example, what is the exception? That is checked exception. Exception are two types. In Java, exception are two types. First one is checked exception. Second one is unchecked exception. Okay, first one is checked exception and second one is unchecked exception. What is checked exception? What is unchecked exception?St one is checked exception. Checked exception means the exception which are checked by the compiler. The exception which are checked by the compiler, whether a programmer handling or not. Whether the programmer handling or not for smooth execution of program at runtime. Okay, smooth execution of program at runtime are called checked exception. Again I am saying, what is checked exception? The exception which are checked by the compiler. The exception which are checked by the compiler, whether the programmer handling or not for smooth execution. Programmer handling or not for smooth execution of program at runtime, not compile time, at runtime are called checked exception. Okay, that is called checked exception. Example, what are the examples of checked exception? There are many exception, it's called checked exception. I am defining two examples, that is hall ticket missing exception, and file not found exception. If file are not present in your hard disk, then that exception is called file not found exception. That is called checked exception. Another is called unchecked exception. What is unchecked exception? The exception which are not checked by the compiler. The exception which are not checked by the compiler, whether the programmer handling or not for smooth execution of program at runtime. Unchecked exception means the exception which are not checked by the compiler. This part is very important. The program exception which are not checked by the compiler. This exception is called unchecked exception. Example, arithmetic exception and null pointer exception. What is two exceptions are there? I am writing two exceptions. Many exceptions of unchecked exceptions are there, but I am writing two exceptions: arithmetic exception and null pointer exception. Two exceptions I am writing. In exception hierarchy, throwable acts as a root for exception handling. Here I am writing throwable. In exception hierarchy, throwable acts as the root for exception handling. Throwable is the root, then childs are exception and error. Throwable is the root and childs are exception and error. Okay. Then again, exception handling is many ways. There is one way, customized exception handling. You know what is customized exception handling? Customized exception handling. We have to write customized exception handling by try, catch and finally block. Customized exception handling, try, catch and finally block. What is the meaning of try, catch and finally block? If you identify there is some exception, so if identify there is some exception, we have to write in try in catch block. If there is an exception, we have to write in try block. That exception can be handled by the catch block. Okay, and finally you can write any statement. Okay, here I am writing a code. Try if there is an exception in try block, that is risky code, and writing catch which exception you have to identify, that is in catch block, exception E. Okay, and handling that code. Try catch. These two blocks is the customized exception. Is very important. Okay. In exception handling, there is a methods. Okay. Which methods for exception? That is various methods of print exception information. There is various methods of print exception. Okay. Throwable is a root for exception handling. Throwable is a class. What is the throwable? Throwable is a class. Defines the following methods. What are the methods used for exception? That is for print exception information in the console. Whatever exception arises, that exception print in your console. That is, console means JVM. Okay. Which methods of exception information in console? That is, one method is print stack trace. Okay, print stack trace method for exception handling. What is the meaning of print stack trace? It is very important. Print stack trace. The method print the exception information means the method print the exception information in the following format. What is the format? The method print the exception information in the following format. Is very important. Without that format, you can't define the print stack trace. Okay. What is the meaning of print stack trace? The method print the exception information in the following format. Okay. That is name of the exception. Which exception? First, the name of the exception, description of the exception, description of exception, and print stack trace. Okay, what is the meaning? Name of the exception, which type of exception arise, and describe that exception, description of the exception, and print stack trace. Which exception is arise, you have to print. Okay. This is the print stack trace method for present in throwable class. It's very important. Okay, I'm writing a program. That program handled with try catch and finally block. Okay, try catch and finally block. I am writing a program class test, public static void main string array of args. Means this is the main method. In Java program, this is the main method. Public static void means string array of arguments. Whatever you have to argument pass, that is string type. Means string array can be accepted by string arguments. Okay, this is the main method of that program. Okay, I'm writing try. I'm writing customize exception, try block, catch block, and final block. Try if there is an exception. System.out.println. I'm writing 10 divided by 0. You know already in mathematics 10 divided by 0 means infinity. There is some exception, there is no result. So I am defining system.out.println 10 divided by 0. Okay, so here is a exception arise. So that exception can be catch block. That is which type of exception? That is arithmetic exception E. E means this is the object. Exception object. E means exception object. Arithmetic exception E. So that object you have to print. So E dot print stack trace. I am already defined print stack trace is a method of exception. So in this way I want to print here E dot print stack trace method. Then system dot out dot println E. Which type of exception you have to print? E. This object. Finally, final block in final block system.out.println final block executed. So here this program here is the one is error 10 divided by 0. Here is the exception arise. Which type of exception? The arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception arise. So that exception I have to print by E dot print stack trace. Here is the what is the meaning of print stack trace? I am already called print stack trace. Print stack trace means name of the exception, description of the exception, and print stack trace. Okay, here is the customized exception. Here another keyword is that is finally, final keyword. Here I am writing finally keyword. Finally is a keyword. It is very important. Finally is a keyword. What is the meaning of finally? What is the meaning of finally in exception handling? What is the meaning of finally keyword? Finally means finally is a block. This is a block. This is a block. Final block. Okay, this is a final block. Finally is a block always associated with try catch. Finally is a block always associated with a try catch. Finally is a block is always associated with a try catch. To maintain the cleanup code is very important. This is the function of finally, to maintain the cleanup code which should be executed always irrespective of whether the exception raised or not. This is very important. Finally is a block to clean up the code. You have to remember, finally is a block to clean up the code. Clean up the code which should be executed always irrespective of whether the exception raised or not. Okay, if exception is not raised, what is the function of final? What is the work of final? So this is a very important. Exception handling. Another topic is exception handling by throws and throw keyword. Okay, how another way of exception handling? Exception handling can be handled by another way is throws and throw keyword. What is the meaning of throws and what is the meaning of throw keyword? It's very important. Throws. First thing is throws. How to use throws keyword? In our Java program, if there is any chance of raising checked exception, I am already discussed what is checked exception, what is unchecked exception. Here I am writing if in our program if there is any chance of raising checked exception, then compulsory we should handle by try catch. In our program, if there is any chance of rising, check the exception. Then compulsory we should handle by try catch. Or by throws keyword. There is a checked exception. I already discussed about customized exception by try catch block. Here I am writing try catch or by throws keyword. This is very important. Or by throws keyword. How to write throws keyword? I am writing a program. Here class test. That is public static void main string arguments. That is main method. So throws, here is the exception is there. So how to handle that exception? By throws keyword. Throws IO exception. IO means input and output exception. It comes under java.io package. Okay, define. Remember java.io package. If I am not writing throws IO exception, then I am writing try catch block. In this way, I am writing try catch block. Try catch block. Okay. If I am not writing try catch block, then I am writing in this way. Throws IO exception. So whatever writing program, simple program. In this I am writing throws keyword. By using throws keyword, I am writing throws IO exception. Whatever exception arise, you have to write in main method. This is a procedure. Okay. Another is throw keyword. How to handle exception by throw keyword? First one is throws keyword. Second one is throw keyword. Okay. Throw means, what is the meaning of throw? Sometimes we can create exception. Sometimes when I am writing a Java program, there is some create some exception. Sometimes we can create exception object. Sometimes we can create exception object explicitly and we can hand over to the JVM manually. I am writing here. Sometimes we can create exception. Sometimes we can create. When I am writing program, I already create exception object explicitly and we can hand over to the JVM. Which can be handled? Which is handled by JVM. JVM is a what? JVM is a Java virtual machine. JVM is a compiler. That compiler can handle the exception. Okay, that code written in Java library. It's very, very important. Remember, throws, sometimes we can create exception object explicitly and we can hand over to the JVM manually. I can handle to the JVM. Okay, by using throw keyword. Okay, one program is there. How to handle a throw keyword? Then you write public static void main string arguments. How to use throw keyword? Throw new arithmetic exception by 0. Here is writing. I am writing throw new arithmetic exception. I am defining here how throw can be used. Throw new arithmetic exception. Okay. Throw new arithmetic exception. In 3 ways. I am defining here 3 ways to handle exception. 3 ways we handle exception. First one is customize exception by try, catch and finally block. Then I am using if we are not using try, catch and find and block, then we are using throws keyword or throw keyword. Okay, here I am writing throws. Throws keyword means public static main method. You write main method, at the end you write throws IO exception. In this way we can define throws keyword. Then another is throw keyword. Throw keyword to handle the exception throw. But throw, how to write? Throw new arithmetic exception. Okay, this is the very important topic of exception handling. Okay, I'm summarized whole exception. Next class we will discuss about some various programs of exception handling. Okay, first thing is, what is exception? How exception can be handled? How many types of exception? And customize exception. Then if I am writing not using customized exception, how I am writing using throws and throw keyword. Okay, next class I am studying about how to write various programs of exception handling. Thank you.